Hi everyone. Today we're going to discuss the roles of vitamin D, calcitonin, FGF-23 in the metabolism of calcium and phosphate. These minerals are regulated by different chemicals that I've already told you, and these chemicals, how they play a role in their regulating the concentration in the body, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so now why understanding this mechanism is important? Because when you read about hyperparathyroidism, hypoparathyroidism, vitamin D deficiency, even if you read about renal osteodystrophy, that is bony changes that occur in diabetes mellitus patient due to some changes in kidney. So all of these is going to be understood when you have the clear cut understanding of what is happening with calcium and phosphate. Okay, so now let us start. First we'll start with, okay, first of all, let me tell you, you don't need a pen or paper to understand this mechanism. I'm here to tell you how these things are going to work, and if you follow me thoroughly, you're going to get it learned also. So keep your pen and paper aside and just focus on listening to me. Okay. So now let us start with parathyroid hormone. Okay, now next thing I want to make sure is that all of you have the basic knowledge. I mean, this video is only meant for medical students, and I believe that you have the basic knowledge that what is parathyroid hormone. I'm not going to tell you about the amino acid, what is that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to make the mechanism clear cut in your mind so that you don't forget it easily. Okay, so now start. The parathyroid hormone. Let us start with the parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone has three different actions. Okay, first talk about its action on the PCT cells of kidney. Okay, the parathyroid hormone acts on the PCT cell of kidney, and the PCT cell of kidney has what enzyme? It has enzyme 1-alpha hydroxylase. Now 1-alpha hydroxylase, it activates parathyroid hormone activates 1-alpha hydroxylase, and this 1-alpha hydroxylase converts 25-hydroxy D3. Okay, what is 25-hydroxy D3? Calcidiol, or inactive form of vitamin D3. This converts 25-hydroxy D3 into 1,25-dihydroxy D3, that is active form of vitamin D. Now, parathyroid hormone form the active form of vitamin D, and what will this vitamin D do? It will cause two actions. First of all, on GIT, particularly on duodenum. Vitamin D will do what? It will form the receptors on the duodenum which will cause the absorption of calcium for our food, from our food. This thing is clear. If calcium is getting absorbed from the food, then the calcium concentration in the body is going to increase. More calcium will be available in the body. Again, vitamin D has done one of its action on GIT. The other action of vitamin D is on kidney tubules. Now, what is the action? First of all, I'm talking about parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone formed vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is going to cause these two actions. So I can say indirectly, I'm talking about the parathyroid hormone actions. Okay, so vitamin D, one action I told you, it causes calcium absorption from GIT, from duodenum. Okay, the other action of vitamin D is it increases calcium and phosphate reabsorption from kidney tubules. GIT absorption from kidney tubules, it increases. Okay, from GIT it only increased calcium absorption, but in the kidney it increases calcium as well as phosphate reabsorption. So now you are clear with the actions of vitamin D. What does vitamin D do? It increases the absorption of calcium from GIT, and it increases the reabsorption of calcium and phosphate from GIT. Okay. Now this was parathyroid hormone. It activated vitamin D. So this was one action of parathyroid hormone. Now coming to the second action of parathyroid hormone. What does parathyroid hormone do? This action is also happening at the kidney. So what does parathyroid hormone do? It increases the reabsorption of calcium. So when reabsorption of calcium increases, the concentration of calcium in the body will increase. And the second action at kidney is it decreases the reabsorption of phosphate. When phosphate reabsorption is decreased, So phosphate will get filtered out and phosphate concentration in the body will decrease. Now let's recap it again. Parathyroid hormone, first it activated D3. D3 did what? It increased calcium absorption from gut, and it increased calcium and phosphate reabsorption from kidney. Now coming to the kidney, direct action of PTH on kidney. Direct action is it increases the calcium reabsorption from tubules, and it decreases calcium reabsorption. So it helps in filtering out of phosphate from our body. So we can say that PTH cause direct action is what? It causes filtering out of phosphate for our body. So PTH is also called as a phosphatonin. PTH belongs to a family called phosphatonin. Phosphatonin means the chemicals, the substances which decrease phosphate concentration in our body. Two actions have been understood. Vitamin D, PTH action from vitamin D, PTH action directly on kidney. Another PTH action is on bones. What cell of bone? Osteoblast. Remember, not osteoclast, it is osteoblast. PTH activates osteoblast. This osteoblast then activate osteoclast. Osteoclast are bone dissolving cells. These osteoclasts release acid proteases. Acid proteases do what? It causes bone resorption, and this process, bone resorption, increases calcium and phosphate concentration in the body. So now you have understood three mechanisms by which PTH is working, parathyroid hormone is working. One, by activation of D3, and D3 has its two actions. Second, by acting on the kidney tubules, increasing the calcium reabsorption and decreasing the phosphate reabsorption. And third action is acting on the osteoblast, which act on the osteoclast, which cause bone dissolving. So till now this is clear. Now we have discussed the actions of PTH, and we have also discussed the action of D3. Another action of D3, apart from increasing GIT, apart from increasing calcium absorption of GIT and calcium and phosphate absorption from kidney, another action of D3 is increasing calcium absorption from kidney also. So this D3 action is clear, this PTH action is clear. Now coming to a metabolite, a special metabolite which is usually not taught in MBBS level. So, but understanding of this metabolite is very important if you want to understand the difference of secondary hyperparathyroidism and renal osteodystrophy. What is the basic difference? Okay, somebody can loosely say that secondary hyperparathyroidism and renal osteodystrophy are same. No, they are not same. Okay, there are biochemical differences I'm going to tell you in some other video, but make sure you clear these concepts so that in that video you don't have a confusion in understanding that. Apart from that, I'm going to tell you FGF-23 role in these calcium and phosphate metabolism. Now FGF-23 is a metabolite that is produced by osteoblast. Okay, what is this going to do when it is produced? I'm not going to explain it to you here. What I'm going to tell you is the direct actions, what are the clear-cut actions of FGF-23 I'm going to tell you here. So the first action of FGF-23 is it inhibits the enzyme 1-alpha hydroxylase. Yes, the same enzyme that was activated by PTH, this FGF-23 is going to inhibit that enzyme. Okay, so this enzyme gets inhibited, so active form of vitamin D production will decrease. The first action of FGF-23 we have discussed is active form of vitamin D3 is going to decrease. Now second action. Second, FGF-23 directly activates PTH. It directly stimulates the production of parathyroid hormone. This is the second action. Now what are the electrolyte level changes are going to happen? I'm going to tell you in the later part of this video, but first learn and understand what is happening. First action of FGF-23 is inhibition of PCT cells. What is the enzyme that is getting inhibited? It is 1-alpha hydroxylase. The second action of FGF-23 is direct activation of PTH, or I can say direct stimulation and causing release of PTH. The third action of FGF-23 is it inhibits the reabsorption of phosphate from kidney tubules. it directly inhibits the reabsorption of phosphate from kidney tubules, so phosphate will get filtered. So when I'm going to show you the table, when I'm going to show you the flow chart, you will get a clear-cut understanding that phosphate is ultimately causing, FGF-23 is ultimately causing a excretion of phosphate from our body. So phosphate will get excreted, so phosphate concentration will decrease. So FGF-23 is also a group. FGF-23 is also a member of phosphatonin family. That means it decreases the blood phosphate concentration. Till now it is clear. Another one metabolite that is left is calcitonin. Calcitonin, I'm not going to tell you where it is produced. The three main actions of calcitonin, or I would say the three only actions of calcitonin. First action, it inhibits osteoclast. Remember, I told you PTH, it activates osteoblast and then indirectly osteoblast activate osteoclast. But calcitonin directly inhibits what? Osteoclast. So bone resorption will decrease. Bone resorption will not occur, so calcium and phosphate concentration in the body will decrease. That is the first action of calcitonin. Second action of calcitonin is it decreases the reabsorption of calcium and phosphate from kidneys. Okay, so calcium and phosphate will get filtered out. So calcitonin, in the basic, I can say calcitonin helps in decreasing calcium and phosphate concentration from body. So first action what calcitonin did was it inhibits osteoclast so that calcium and phosphate are not produced by bone resorption. Second, it directly caused inhibition of resorption of calcium and phosphate from kidney tubules so that calcium and phosphate get filtered out. So this was the mechanism of calcitonin. Now I'm pretty sure that you have understood what are the mechanism of actions of these three metabolites: calcitonin, FGF-23 and vitamin D3. Now I'm going to show you a flow chart and it will better help you understand more.